Welcome to Authors Allies, the podcast where we dive into the world of authors, books, and the art of storytelling. Join us for in-depth interviews with celebrated authors, insightful book reviews, and practical tips on marketing your literary masterpiece. After 20 years publishing magazines, I, your host, Rebecca Pachorik, am so thrilled to be able to work within my dream of promoting authors and their books. Whether you're a seasoned writer or just starting your journey, we've got something for you. So grab your favorite beverage, settle in, and let's explore the fascinating world of books together.
Okay. Hello, friends. I am so happy to have you back on the Authors Allies podcast. Today's guest is someone who embodies resilience, wisdom, and the kind of quiet strength that changes lives. Patrice Miller is an author, coach, realtor, and founder of Foundations for Leadership. She's written the book Quiet Strength from Within that also comes with a journal if you want to purchase that. These are heartfelt guides to healing, self-discovery, and living with clarity. She's also penned a book on real estate that draws from over 25 years of hands-on investing and coaching experience. After navigating some personal health changes, though, and big life transitions, Patrice stepped away from the corporate grind to create a more grounded, purpose-driven life. I'm so excited for her. Now, she blends her heart-centered coaching with strategic insight to help others reset, refocus, and rise, whether they're starting fresh or they're leveling up. This fall, she's teaching classes on both real estate and life coaching in person in the Detroit, Michigan area. And today we're diving into her journey, her books, and the wisdom she's gained along the way. Patrice, thank you so much for being on the show today. I'm so excited to have you. We're going to have fun.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. And that was a very nice introduction.
Aw, you're so sweet. Did I miss anything that you think is important that people need to know at the moment?
I don't think so. I think you got it all.
Okay, good. Well, me and my friend Chat had a little discussion about you. I needed a little help massaging some things. And as all of our listeners know, I am all about using ChatGPT to help with our marketing, right? And not writing our books. So I'm happy to use Chat as my friend to put our podcast pieces together. Okay, so tell me, you have been in the industry for a while, but you were doing real estate, and while you were doing real estate and then doing the real estate investing, and you kind of, you've been coaching people along in that, what made you decide to actually write a book about it?
Well, I think that there is a lot of misinformation out there. There are a lot of people that want to be real estate investors and they just don't know how. And it
Yeah.
really is very simple as long as you stop, you think about what you want in life, right? So in this instance, it's real estate investing and how that can embody in your life, right? So once you figure out which area you want to go in, there are only a handful of areas you can go in, and I say
Okay.
that there are a lot of niches you can go in. But,
Gotcha.
but the nuts and bolts you have basic, right? And
Okay.
then how do you do it? Where I feel like most investors really get stuck is planning. And they plan and they plan and they never take action. My
Mm,
book, um, my book was written so that you could read the book and take the steps that you need to take to actually make a difference in your life.
I love that. So you wrote that one first.
I wrote this one first.
Okay.
And I wrote
Okay.
that to help me, um, something to point to for real estate investors. If you want to be an investor, read this book. We can walk through the steps together and use it as a Bible, write notes in it, make
I
action
love that.
plans in it. But the whole premise of this book is to get out there and do it. Just do it.
I love that. I love that because so many people, like you said, they just pause, and I'm bad about that myself. When you're looking at doing something new, sometimes it can be scary. And I'm not sure you know this, but I actually sold real estate for about 3 years. So I'm somewhat familiar, and people were always wanting to invest. And when you're a general realtor, you really don't learn that part. So you really, to be able to help them with that, I would appreciate someone like you if I were to be wanting to invest in real estate, because just being a realtor is different than being a real estate investor.
Much
Whole
different.
different thing. It's a whole different thing. And you're right, people just don't know. You know
And
what I mean? What they're doing. So you did the real estate books first, and then did you write the Quiet Strength from Within after the health changes that you had?
I started writing the book Quiet Strength from Within. Um, I wrote it, rewrote it, concepts
Mm-hmm.
changed. I
Sure.
am somebody that likes to plan. I like to
Okay.
write things down. And something in my coaching is you have thoughts in your head swirling around and you get anxious and you get stressed out about things. And I'm a firm believer if you just kind of take what you have swirling around the top of your head and reduce it to paper. Just write it down. Let your thoughts go and write everything down. While you're writing everything down, it'll form where you need
Mm.
to go.
Yes, so much.
And I kind of live that way. I live that way and I coach that way. So I was experiencing some urges, some stress about things, so I started writing it down. And in wanting to help people in coaching, that's where I started writing the book. I wrote it as a tool to help me with my coaching. And then I had the health crisis. So I reformatted it. Actually, my significant other, Richard, had his health crisis. And I started writing a little bit about that. And then I had mine. So I had to rewrite everything else.
Oh my gosh.
And so, would you say, did I write the book after my health incident? Yes, but I also started it before, and it's been a work in progress, and it was rewritten several times. But it was written initially, it started out to help other people, but then it ended up helping me
I was
because I
just going to
needed to
say
put everything down on paper.
that is amazing. And, for people who are looking at this on video versus just listening, this is Patrice's book, The Quiet Strength from Within. And I know that you have a journal that goes with it too, but people can see, like, I am a little more than halfway through the book, and I've already, like, written so much down, Patrice, in this book. So I can imagine, yes, that, like you said, not only had you started, it sounds like that your goal was to help other people, but in the end, you helped yourself as you were working through this book. That's
I work,
amazing. Like,
yeah, but I worked through a lot of my own issues writing that
yeah,
book, so I know it will help other people.
I love that. And I can tell from reading the book and writing things down in it myself how much care and time that you put into this. Because I originally, when I first sit down to read a book of someone that I'm going to interview, my goal is to read the book, finish the book before I interview you, right? And I did not want to do that with this book for the reason that I feel like this is a book that people want to take their time with a little bit. Because if I had just read through the book just so I could talk to you about the book, I wouldn't have gotten anything out of the book, if that makes sense. So the way you wrote this is really neat, in that you've got your information, and then you've got kind of like those journaling questions, and you've even got lines in here for people to write. I am enjoying it in a way that what I'm doing is I'm reading like a chapter, and then I noodle on it for a few days. And
Hmm.
then I'm coming back and I'm writing my notes. Like, I'll take notes in the corners, but then I'm coming back to write the little journal questions out. And I'm finding that really helpful myself, right? And so many authors, many other authors, and the rest of us in the publishing industry, right? A lot of us have had the same kinds of things that have happened to you. Many people that are writers have either some sort of chronic illness, or they've gone through something, right, that has inspired their writing. And so this book will help them, I feel like, in their writing journey the same kind of a way. And so when you were having your health crisis and when Richard had his, is that when you realized that maybe you were like moving towards a different type of lifestyle and a different sort of work setup? Like, how did those experiences shape the way your work day and things look today? Is that a whole different thing now?
It is a completely different thing now. So I was leaning towards this
Okay.
when I had my health crisis and Richard had his. I didn't try and shape anything. I just tried to survive, like a lot of
Oh, yeah.
people do. I needed to get through it, and
Hmm.
I needed to get through it and learn something from it.
Oh,
So
yeah. That's nice.
I always feel like if you're going through any trials or tribulations, anything that you go through, you're going through it for a reason. There's
Hmm.
something in it that you need to learn. I have fibromyalgia, and
Okay.
having fibromyalgia for years, this is not a new diagnosis. I've had it for over 20. I've learned, slow down, Patrice. Take it easy and just do what you can. But I'm not really great at that yet. After all these years, I'm not great because I get things in my head and I want to just go. Go, 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 go.
Hmm.
And when this all happened, it was like I couldn't go, go, go. I couldn't do anything. I just had to survive. And thank God for my tribe. My tribe helped me immensely. And I had to learn, and that was something that I had to learn. Let them do it. I don't always
Hmm.
have to be the chief.
Oh my gosh. And
Um,
it's so hard.
yeah, there's something on my grandmother's tombstone, and I think that I embody that in a lot of the things that I do, and I learned to step back. She is the mother of 7 chiefs and no Indians.
Oh my
Right.
gosh.
So in my life and in my friends, I am the chief. I am the one that puts things together. I'm the one that organizes, and I do. And I had to learn through all of this, I had to learn that my tribe is so important. And when I say tribe, it's not just my family, it's my close friends.
Hmm.
And they've all helped me in a way that I can't even express the gratitude that I have for that. It was
Oh,
such a learning experience for me.
I love that. And that comes through really well in your book, especially at the beginning. The story that you tell, which I know most of our listeners are going to be familiar with, about the elephants, how the mama elephants will surround an elephant that, is hurting or in need. And it's amazing to me because I too have a really amazing tribe. Like, you can't see it, but I have their picture hanging right here. There's 7 of us, besties, and we've been friends since high school, and some of us even before that. And it's amazing to me how much these people become your family too, and like you said, it's hard, similar to you in that I'm the doer, right? Like, I'm used to it. I've always been type A. I'm the oldest daughter. I'm the oldest granddaughter on both sides of my family, and just so used to being in charge. Right. And I think that's an entrepreneur thing too. Like, you can't be an entrepreneur if you don't want to be in charge. I think a lot of it is a female thing because a lot of women are so much stronger than we think we are. And we do a lot. And so I can, just from the little bit I know about you, I can imagine how painful mentally and emotionally it was for you to not be able to do. Like you said, like, I spent 6 weeks in the hospital with our son. I had preeclampsia and I was 6 weeks on bed rest in the hospital, and I was running magazines at the time. I had to just step back from everything. And we didn't have Zoom and, all the things we have now. My husband bought me a laptop. So the most exciting thing I could do was check emails. Um, I mean, I had a pile of books, it was crazy, but I was used to being the one doing, right? And then when you're sitting there and you can't do, it's very humbling. It's very
It's a
humbling.
hard lesson to learn. I didn't learn it fully.
Yeah.
I feel with my fibromyalgia and through years of kind of getting moving and doing, I had more to learn. It's
Right.
not just slowing down. It's slowing down physically, mentally, emotionally, and regrouping. And
Do you
I
think we ever
learned the
finish
lesson.
learning?
I hope I learned it fully.
I was just going to say, yeah, I hope you did too. But do you think we're ever done learning? Like, I feel like we're
No,
never done. Like, I'm
no.
going to keep learning until I draw my last breath.
I just want to learn different things now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We want to learn the fun things now, not those big, important, painful things. I'm not asking for much. No, I love that. And, when you think about the way that those experiences have shaped the path, right, of not only pulling out that quiet strike from within, but creating your own life, creating your own direction as an entrepreneur, as a coach now. When you think about the things that you've written and the things that you've done from that, is there something that you think our listeners could do, like right now, like what is something that they could do to lean into creating that life? Is there like a simple exercise in there that would be like a good little starting tip for them?
There is, and it's a clarity exercise that I've
Okay.
written and I try to embody, and we've already talked a little bit about it. Stop. Just stop. Take
Okay.
all of your thoughts that are swirling around in your head and write them down.
A brain dump.
A brain dump. So there's something that I like to do where you write a circle and you write all of your big issues in the circle, right?
Okay.
And then on the outside of the circle, you write just the things that you can control.
Okay.
There are
Just
very
the
few
things you
things that
can
you can
control.
control, but what you can control, you should control.
Okay.
Write steps, write steps on how do I control it. But what's important to me now, and out of what's important to me now, what can I control?
Okay.
And then just start writing, just start journaling, and it will come to you. The clarity will come as you're writing. I've never really been a journaler or a diary person, but I've always been write it down because when you're writing it down, I don't know, there's something about writing it down. When you're writing things down, your emotions come out, your thoughts come out, things that you can't express in words, you can express on paper. So that would be my big thing.
I
Write it
love
down.
that. So basically, just to make sure I got it right. So you're suggesting we start with a circle. The big issues are in the middle, and then the outside are the things we can control.
Correct.
Okay. And then generally just like a brain dump and just start, getting it all on that paper and then kind of go from there. I love that. I was the same way. People would talk about diaries and stuff like that. I'm sure when I was a teenage girl, I probably had a diary that I locked and hid somewhere and wrote down what cute boy I was interested in at the moment or whatever, right? But as an adult, I've always been a list maker. So have you always been a list maker as well? And that's now turned into a thought writer instead, kind of a thing?
Exactly. Exactly. I find that I have too many thoughts that I need to organize.
Oh
And
my
the only
gosh,
way
yes.
that I can organize them is get them on paper, right?
Yes, I love that. I am a huge fan of the brain dump. I do at least one a week. Sometimes, some weeks when I feel more stressed, I will do more. And I always have my little handy dandy notebook running. So I just keep adding to it, kind of a thing. I know everyone uses their phones now, especially the younger people. But what you said about writing, there's just something about writing. And I know there's all this scientific proof, even that it does help us process our emotions more, right? It helps us process everything by physically writing it down. And schools find that writing, helps you learn it better too. And so I think that's fabulous. That especially makes me excited about your journal. Like, I know that I already, I have the book, I don't have your journal yet, and I've been writing in this. How is the journal version different than this book?
The journal book is different from the actual Quiet Strength from Within. It's
Okay.
similar in the way that it will guide you. But at the very beginning of the book, you probably can't see it, but it asks you a snapshot. And it's not just blank pages, it asks you some questions. How do I currently feel about myself? Right? And
Mm,
this is your book, it's for you. What are thoughts that repeat throughout the entire day? Because those are really important thoughts. And then where do I feel stuck in my life? So it's going to guide you through a series of questions.
okay.
And this is the snapshot of where you are before.
Okay.
Every day, it asks you more simple questions.
I love it.
Today, I intend to one small win that I want today, a thought that I'm going to let go of today,
Mm.
uh, a thought that I'm going to choose instead of that thought. So
Oh, I
it's
love that.
guiding you through some thoughts. It's asking
Okay.
you to write them down. So every day you're going to work on some specific things and write some specific thoughts down, and then you just have several pages of writing to continue. This is just meant to get you going. So it will get you going. And then at the very end of the book is a final reflection. So
Oh,
when you're
okay.
done with the 30 days of the book, you can look at where was I before?
I love that.
How did I get through this process? And then where am I at the end of the book?
That's
So
awesome.
this book will help you in that manner.
And those questions are different than the journaling questions in the other book.
Yes, the journal questions in the other book will specifically go through each chapter, what the lessons we learned in that chapter, um, and and how does it apply in that scenario. This is just completely different everyday stuff.
Now, would I want to read this one first and do the journal, or does it not really matter
It
of
no,
the
it
order?
doesn't. They're meant to help you work through things together,
Gotcha.
but you
Okay.
don't need it together. You
Gotcha.
could simply buy this book, um, journal through this book, and you'll become fine, right?
Okay.
You'll learn something from this book.
Gotcha.
The Quiet Strength from Within has the journaling exercises in it as well,
Okay.
and that's an alone version. But if
Gotcha.
you do them together, it's just going to be that much better.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Well, apparently I need to add the other one to my Amazon cart next time I'm in there. My cart is always long, kind of like that to be read pile, right? Like it
Yeah.
just grows and grows, and it's just really hard. I know that, you know, doing these books that you've got, specifically those two, uh, a lot of love, a lot of heart goes into that. And I know that you are doing coaching too. Like you do one-on-one coaching, right? So if someone is going through the books and then they need more, right? They can talk to you about this. So, how do you balance that heart-centered listening, because I know you're really known for that. When I looked at your testimonials and things, people said you were such a good listener. How do you balance the listening part with giving them those strategic, actionable advice pieces? That sounds really hard to me.
Well, it goes back to the old lesson that people don't care how much you know,
Mm,
they care how much you listen and care for them, right? I know I'm saying
yeah,
that a little
true.
bit backwards, but um, I listen to people, I hear them, and I am very empathetic, right? But I'm also an action oriented person, um, type A personality, right? So I
Right.
will listen to what they're saying and actually feel what they're saying and how they're saying, what they actually mean. I'm not going to listen to one of your sentences um, and then try and put it into something that I know. I'm going to
Okay.
put it into something that you know. I'm going to hear what you're saying. I'm going to feel what you're saying. And then between the two of us, we're going to sit down and write an action plan. And then
Oh, I love that.
I'll hold you accountable. And I can hold you, I'm very good at holding people accountable in a loving manner. Not,
Mm,
oh, you got to do this today. Um,
right.
I can massage that a little bit and help you to get through the hard things because this
Sure.
is hard things. Emotions are tough,
Mm,
but we all
so
have
tough.
them and we all need to learn to deal with them in a constructive manner.
I love that. So loving, not nagging.
Loving, not nagging,
And
listening, being
that's really
empathetic.
hard.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself using your own philosophies in your relationship with Richard? Because I know that I feel like I am constantly trying to love my husband and son and not nag them. And I find that so tough. Like you're using your stuff on your own family, your own friends. Like I would imagine that the things you've learned about yourself are really helping you with all of your relationships too, right?
They are, but they're way helping. But sometimes you just get pieces of advice from people, and I write this in my book. A friend of mine, I was struggling with my daughter, right? She's also a very strong woman.
Surprise.
So, yep, sometimes we struggle. Um, was having a really tough season with her. And my friend, we were just talking and about nothing in particular, about just life in general. And he said to me, Patrice, you have to take your daughter where she's at,
Mm,
not where you're at, not where you want her to be. And I was like, oh my goodness, I am doing that, aren't I? I want her to be where I want her to be, not where she wants to be. And she is her own person. So that was really, really helpful for me. And um, I get little bits of information from a lot of different people that I can portray here.
I love
As far
that.
as my relationship with Richard goes, he is a beautiful soul, and we have a great communication style between the two of us, and we don't really nag at one another. But
I love that.
I don't know if I can swear here, but we call bullshit
Sure.
where bullshit is, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm acting in a way, if I'm nagging, or if I'm this happened recently. I was being bossy. I felt like I didn't have any control in my life through my illnesses and different things. I'm still in the process. Still in the mud, if you will. And
Sure.
he said, Patrice, stop being so bossy. And I had to sit back and say, you know what? You're right. I'm sorry. I don't have any control in this area. So I'm trying to control you over here. And you're right. We call bullshit where bullshit is. And we
I
can
love
work
that.
back and forth like that. So that's a special relationship we have that way.
I love that. And my husband and I have taken a long time to get somewhat to that point too. And that's one of the things I've realized in the last year. I went through a breast cancer scare October of last year. And he was amazing. Of course, he's always amazing. Like he slept on the hospital floor every night of those 6 weeks I was in the hospital with our son on the floor. Yeah, he's freaking amazing. And now I'm going to have to make him listen to this episode so he can hear that I'm saying such nice things about him. But, it takes a long time when you have a relationship with someone. And we're going on 25 years. And it takes, I would say some of these difficulties and these things that you go through, which are hugely traumatic, experiences in some cases, it takes those things to learn what you're saying too, right? Like, I mean, when I was getting very frustrated with him and our son last fall, you know, the one day I like had a total meltdown. And it wasn't really about them, right? Like you said, like it wasn't really about whatever they did. It's about the fact that you have no control over this other thing, and so therefore you are exerting control over this thing. And so I love that. That's a couple of things I've already written in your book about that stuff, and just looking at things from that outside viewpoint. So I love that, what you said, how you can listen to them and be empathetic and not necessarily telling them what to do. You're coming up with it together, right? And that's what I've learned with my husband, is it's helpful to tell him where I am, like meeting me where I'm at right now, right? And then come up with plans together so that I don't take it out on him, and I don't become the nagging, wife, the nagging mom, and that's really hard. When you think about all of this stuff and the things that you're coaching people on, it sounds to me like the quiet strength really still works into the real estate investing coaching, because you're still using all those same skills. As a realtor, I remember very much so laughing, thinking how, oh my gosh, we're psychologists. Like you should need a psychology degree to sell real estate. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Same thing with investing, I'm sure, right?
Right?
Like
Yeah.
you're using these same skills. So I think that's amazing. And you already said, when people are looking at stuff, you suggested the brain dump and the circle of control. Would those same things work, you think, for real estate investing as well? I mean, they can't control the market, but they can control their credit in some ways. Are you using some of those same philosophies? Like, if someone wants to invest in real estate, what would be the first step they would take for that scenario versus, just life scenario? Would it be the same?
It is the same.
Okay.
And really what it is it's a mindset. We have to
Mm,
be in the right mindset, and we need to find the mindset of whichever path we're taking. And it might
okay.
not be real estate investing. It could be, you know, I want to I'm a mid-level manager and I want to get to the C-suite management in leadership. You have to be in that mindset and you have to learn your mindset in order to move forward in that path. So,
Mm,
yes, the first thing I would tell a real estate investor to do is to get your boxes in order, get everything in
okay.
order, right? So, we need to learn what type of investment do I want to go in.
Oh, okay.
And then we need to put a team together or a mindset together, both, to move forward. So, I want to have 10 rentals. I want to buy one
Mm,
rental every year for the next 10 years so that this can be my retirement. So, in order to do that, we need to get our stuff in order, right?
mm,
So, you need to
makes
make
sense.
sure that you have good credit. You need to make sure that you have the cash flow that in order to purchase it. And if you don't, it's okay. But you need to know, do I have it? And if I have it, how am I going to use it most effectively? If I don't have it, how do I get it? And there are so many different ways that you can purchase real estate investments without a ton of cash.
I
When
love
I
that.
first started in real estate, I was a single mother. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
wow.
When I first started in investing, I was a single mother.
Good for
I
you.
chose to be a realtor when I became a single mother.
Mm,
It was the only way that I could support the lifestyle that I wanted for me and my daughter,
sure.
and still be with her rather than being at the 9 to 5
Hmm.
every day, right? Or nine to
Absolutely.
nine every day, what it would take to get there. So that's why I got into real estate. Once I got into investing, I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have, my credit was, I was just getting back on my feet, right? Because I think a lot of young people know when you go through a divorce, um, it affects your credit
It
sometimes.
does.
Right? So
Yeah,
I was
I've
getting back on
heard
my
that's,
feet that way. And I knew I was going to be a realtor. I needed a retirement, right?
yeah.
So even when I was younger, I was looking at retirements. How am I going to retire? So I
That's
wanted to
smart.
go into real estate investing, and I didn't have a lot of money. I found very creative ways to get into it. And there are still a lot of creative ways that
That's
you can
awesome.
get into real estate, and you need to learn those theories and make a plan, put your team together. So you need a great realtor, you need a great lender, whether that is a commercial lender, a private lender, but however you're going to fund that, you need to find that lender. You need to find a good inspector if you don't know a lot about building, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because you
I
don't
guess
want to
so.
buy a
That would
house
be,
that's going to fall apart.
no.
And put that team together. Once you have that team, then you can move forward. But the brain dump, you're dumping everything into putting together your team, and then you're going to walk that path.
I
Like
love that.
everything.
So again, very step by step, just keeping the strategic strategy in mind. And truly, that helps so much in overwhelm. Prevent that overwhelm by taking those simple steps, one step at a time, right? And that's all anyone can really do, and that's all we should hold ourselves accountable for at the moment,
Correct.
is that one step and not the entire list. I'm bad about wanting the entire list. I'll write the list, and then I'll be talking to one of my business coaches, and they'll be like, well, what are the top 3 priorities? And I'm like, oh, they're all a priority. No, they're not. They're clearly not. Like, there is an order. You just have to sometimes think through what that order is, and you need to slow it down. And I'm bad because I'm a fast talker, I'm a fast mover. And so slowing down is sometimes really difficult for some of us. And that is imperative, it sounds like, to slow down, to think it through, to write that list, to really decide where you're going. And I love that. It sounds like your books and your coaching are really going to help people with that. Um, when it comes to being an author, we're authors allies here, so we have to talk about the author part of it naturally. What, when you look back on writing your books, what do you think would be one of those first steps that an author might need to do in order to get their book out there the first time? Because I know that is very overwhelming. So many authors I talk to, they're like, they know they want to write a book, but they don't know what the heck to do next. So what would you recommend for those authors getting their first book?
I sound very redundant. I realize this, but same.
Same. Good.
Take your thoughts, put them down on paper, and let it flow.
Okay.
As you're writing and you keep writing, and you might get sidetracked and go this way, and then you might go this way. Just keep
Sure.
writing.
Okay.
And when you're done writing, write a little bit more, and then sit
Mm,
back and read what you wrote. And that'll tell you exactly what's important to you,
I love that.
if you know it or if you don't know it, right? And then putting pen to paper. That is the most important thing. In research, a lot of research.
Yeah, you I was amazed the first time I talked to you how you did all this stuff yourself. So many people say they want to write a book and then they expect to become J.K. Rowling or some famous person and have some, publisher just, talk to them and do everything for them. You literally did it all yourself. I'm just amazed. Like you just jumped in there and you sound like you must be the queen of research because you figured out how to get your book from Word into Amazon. That probably you were pounding your head a few times on your desk doing all that, weren't you? Or did you just use your own philosophies of take it slow, step by step?
I'm not great at taking it slow step by step, but I am learning, and it's a
Okay.
process. And I had to keep telling myself to do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Um,
Yeah.
I know that I did a lot of research, so I want to write a book. How do I write a book? How do I get it out there? I didn't do that at the very beginning. I
Oh,
just
okay.
needed to get it out there, right? So I
Yeah.
started writing the book, and I was doing it in Word. And then I learned about an editing software called Atticus, and I just jumped into that. So it was a huge learning process because I wrote and I rewrote, and I wrote and I rewrote in Word, I wrote and I rewrote in Atticus, and in the end I had to just merge them all together, um, and then okay, now what? I got my book. Now what? No, I need some illustrations. I need to go back and rewrite my book and think of where, so I can make it a little bit interesting. So I didn't do it in a straight line. Like a lot of things in life, it was pretty zigzaggy. And I did a lot of backtracking because I didn't do that in the beginning. So um, it's what I needed to do for me. It might not work for other authors, but researching is pretty important in the very onset.
I think that is pretty important for most authors because whether you're writing fiction or nonfiction, if you're writing nonfiction like you are, there's the obvious research, right? Because you're writing about something, so you need to know about it. When it comes to non to fiction, you have to create an entire world. And so you have to research that world as well, right? And all of the bits and pieces and nuances of that. So I think that your step-by-step strategy is probably still, like you said, I mean, you're just applying that across everything. I know that you have some in-person classes coming up. I know that you do one-on-one coaching for both the real estate investing and the life coaching type of things. Do you have more books coming? What else do you think you have in the works, or do you not know yet? Are you taking it step by step and doing those things first, or do
Well,
you
I
have a
have a
big brain
lot
dump?
out there in the universe.
Yeah.
So yes, I would like to. I have what I'm dying to start my next book,
Okay.
but I'm trying to learn everything that I can learn
Perfect.
now about what I've already done,
Okay.
because I did do it backwards. I did it, then I'm learning, so I should have learned and then did it. So I'm hoping to learn a lot more, and then I'm going to start with my next book. Um, and I already have the title of it because I've kind of ended this book in it, and it's Moving with Grace.
Oh, I love that.
Grace is something that's very important to me in my life. And I think it is to a lot of people. And how do you move with grace? How do you live your life intentionally with grace? So Yes, the thoughts are there. My brain doesn't stop.
Same.
So it's always going, right? And I have written the title, I've written the outline of the book that I
Good.
want to back into, but that's going to change 100 times.
That's okay.
Yeah. And then on the real estate end of it, real estate has always been a passion of mine. I grew up in a real estate office, right? My mother was a real estate broker.
Okay.
My aunts and uncles sold real estate. My grandparents, not my grandparents, but my grandparents' brother was a realtor. So I mean,
Oh, wow.
I come by it naturally, right? And my mother did not want for me to be a realtor because it's a hard life. And she just forbid me to do it. And
Oh,
finally, I
that's
just
funny.
called her one day and I said, listen, I'm not going to be a realtor, but I just bought a house and I have no idea what just happened. Because the people that love you, they say, oh, don't worry about it. I'm going to take care of it. But the way my mind works is great, but I still need to know what I just did. Right, so I wanted to learn about it. So I said, "Tell me, how do I learn? Where do I go to school? What?" And and we fought back and forth, and finally she told me. I went to school and I got my my real estate license. And she kept saying, "I'm not going to hire you," and I said, "Okay." And then I made the decision I wanted to be a realtor after learning all that. I said, "I'm going to be your worst competitor."
Get out. So were you competitors?
No, she said, "I can't trust anybody to train you properly." To My mother was a very heart-centered woman as well.
I love
And
it.
she said, I can't trust anybody to train you properly without doing things in the gray. Okay, so I went to work for my mom, and that's where
I
my
love it.
real estate career began. So it's in my blood. I love real estate, but I also love teaching people, and I love getting to know people and helping them forge a path forward, right? So as far as the real estate book goes, my goal is to take the legacy blueprint and break it apart and take the different learnings in these chapters and go more in detail. Okay,
Love
so
that.
I want to do real estate investing with rentals, and I want to, within rentals, I want to do what's called the Burr method. It's buy, wash, rinse, and repeat. Buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and then you keep doing it over and over again. But I want to go in detail about how
I
to
love
do
that.
that. So in my brain, I'm putting together specifics on books, so they'll all be a how-to real estate in each in each general area and how to do it more
I love that.
specifically. So, yep, my brain doesn't stop. I want to keep writing, but I don't. I need to learn, and then So I'm just gonna let things swirl for a little while, and then I'll start writing again when things seem to be heading in that right direction. I can calm down on what I need to learn, and okay, so this is where I'm learning a lot. A lot is being thrown at me.
Trial by fire for sure.
Yeah, and that seems to be my life. That's how I learn, right? And so
Many of us do that.
I'm learning it, I'm learning it, and when I feel like I have enough, I'm going to step back and say, okay, I can't learn anymore because my brain is going to explode. I'm going to put it
Right?
to paper now, and I'm going to write my next book.
That. Well, and I think that's great because you've got these products now that you have to learn with. You know what I mean? It's so hard to learn just based on a theory that's out there, right? And so once you have the actual product, it's a lot easier to learn what to do with it and learn how to do it. Like I myself did that. I published magazines for what felt like a bazillion years in the real estate industry. And, eventually I was like, okay, well, I want to be a realtor. So I did the real estate school because I thought I knew, I had known these bits and pieces. And then, moving into getting to work with the authors, which has always been my goal all along, I'm like, well, I need to publish a book so I know what they're doing. Right. And so I created some journals to put in Amazon so that I would learn that back end. Sometimes you can't learn it until you do it.
Hmm.
So, I don't necessarily think you did it backwards. I think you did it in the way that worked for you and the way that, really like if you didn't have a book already, you already written in Word, you would have no reason to learn Atticus or no real availability to do it, right? And so I think the way you did it worked out well for you because you actually learned it as you were doing it. It's kind of like having an internship or co-op, right? Like you're kind of learning on the job. And that's what many authors do. And I think you're going to be great at it. You know, you're a wonderful writer. I love that you can tell your story and get the information in there. You're a good teacher. I know you've got some videos that you've been working on and people can follow you on YouTube. And I know you're on Facebook and YouTube. Are you on all the social channels? Tell us where we can find you.
Linktree. My Linktree is with Patrice.
Okay, that's easy. And I'll put the links in here too for y'all.
I am on Instagram. I'm on Pinterest.
Okay.
Facebook and YouTube.
Okay, that's great. And the videos are helpful. So you're giving little bits and pieces and tips. And so that will be good. And like I said, for everyone listening, we're going to have all the notes. And I think you were telling me before we got on here, there's a freebie that you're offering to our listeners. Tell us about that before we wrap up here.
Sure. It's called the Clarity Starter Kit.
The Clarity Starter. Okay, perfect.
It's the Clarity Starter Kit. And it really is a precursor to learning how to journal, right?
I love that.
Take everything and put it down, and it will walk you through all of that.
Okay,
so
perfect.
That's a nice little kit that'll get you started in journaling.
That's great.
And
so
journaling
kind of teach us that
productively.
That's really important. That's great because that will kickstart someone to get to know kind of the gist of what you're doing. So I love that. Okay. Yeah. We'll have the link for that in the notes so people can download that and they can go follow you. And I'll put the links for where to buy the books. All of your books are on Amazon. Is that correct?
They're all on Amazon, or you can purchase them directly through me.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I'll put your direct website in the notes too, so they can go that way and get them all. Thank you so much. Is there anything else that you think the readers need to know about you before I ask you like my final, very important question?
I think we covered a lot today.
Good.
I think we covered a lot today, and there is a lot to know, but getting it all right down narrowing it down within an hour is really hard to do.
Right? So, I know. It's so hard.
I think that what we discussed today is a great precursor to who I am as a writer, as a coach and teacher.
Good. I'm so glad you were able to come on. But you know, Authors Allies podcast started out as Books and Brew. And I have my big old handy coffee cup here. And I have to ask everyone, if you have a cup in the morning of something, is it water? Is it tea? Is it something more interesting? Coffee? What are you drinking? What's in your cup?
In my cup is always coffee.
Coffee?
Black, strong coffee. Yep.
Black and strong. All right. Well, cheers. Cheers to strong coffee.
Cheers.
And good mornings. Yeah. And to real estate and to coaching and to all the authors out there. We love you all. Everyone, keep listening. Share this with a friend. If you need some help, look up Patrice M. Miller, and we will see you on the next show.
That's all for this episode of Authors Allies. We hope you enjoyed our exploration of the literary world. Be sure to stay tuned for our next episode where we'll have more fascinating interviews, book reviews, and marketing tips. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform. Leave us a review and share us with a friend. To get your free copy of our ebook, 10 Steps to Your Ultimate Book Marketing Plan, be sure to head over to our show notes. Until next time, happy reading and writing.